Hi.
Hey everyone, how are we doing?
Hello.
Nice to see everyone here. Can we all actually believe that it's been a year? Literally 1 year since we started doing this. It's literally flown by. It's been absolutely crazy.
What a journey.
Yeah, just a bit so far.
Like, there's parts of me that like can't believe it's been a year already, but also like that's been a long year.
It's mental. It's mental, and it's so good. Like we've got Magnus out here with us in Dubai just now, which is fantastic. It's really nice to actually get to spend some time with him again.
Yeah. It's great to actually see you in person.
Yeah, I know. We spent the last 6 months just talking over Google Meets and Discord, and yeah, it's been a bit mental. So yeah, we played just before we came into this screen. We played our our anniversary sort of recap trailer, which we put together, and I think it's been going down pretty well so far. It's honestly, I can't believe it. I can't believe that we've been doing this a year.
Yeah.
And we couldn't have been doing this without all of you guys, which is mental. I'm blown away. I'm really humbled by everyone's support. What's the drink?
Not brand affiliated.
Is this a sponsorship?
Hitting the hard stuff. Going straight for the Fanta. Celebratory Fanta. No, I have to go and pick our daughter up in like an hour's time from her friend's house. So the last thing that you want is to be caught drunk driving in Dubai.
And I just like Fanta.
And I love Fanta. So yeah, I can't really complain. Thank you so much for all of the awesome birthday messages that we've had, like on here.
Really nice to see.
Yeah, and on Telegram we've had so many. And it's really humbling just to see all the support that we get from everyone. Like, what's your highlight been from like the last year? Like, what have you enjoyed the most
from the last year?
Yeah,
had to be going out to GITEX and meeting people and getting to talk about the game in person with supporters of Project Quantum and what we're doing, and also getting a real insight into the wider crypto world and why what we're doing is important and special and different as well. It was really, it's always reassuring to sort of to put your ideas out into the relevant industry and see them matter. So that was a great experience for me.
Yeah, I think one thing I really enjoyed by GTX was doing the actual talk.
Yeah, because I'm usually kept in a cupboard just working. So actually being let out to talk to people was great.
That's a voluntary thing. You do that on your own. Like you're more than welcome to come and do these AMAs as much as you want, and take part. But it's what was it? No Iron Brew in Dubai. No, there is actually Iron Brew in Dubai. It's just
is that?
It's just like £10 for 6 cans.
It's like 10 quid for like 6 cans.
That goes against everything it means to be Scottish.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. When you know that you can go into Costco back home and buy like a slab of it for like 15 quid, and it's amazing. I feel like I should probably just ship some of it out. So how about you? Like, what's been your
I would say like kind of watching the community grow, getting all the feedback from the community, like our amazing community managers, just like everyone for just hyping us and just being so excited by the journey. And like I think I'm most excited for this next step of the journey, because we're going to be able to share a lot more of what's going on in the game and more from the team, what's actually happening, and let the community be a proper part of that process, which is what made me excited about doing this in the first place. So I'm just like really like ready to go.
It's because
for
of
the next part.
with everything that's going on, with everything that's coming up between NFT Expoverse, which is secured and ready to rock and roll. So that's the end of July. We're potentially doing the Retosa family office, which we've been invited to, which is in Monaco at the end of June, and we've got our raise, which we're doing with US Capital. With everything, with all of that just gives us an ability to scale, because the attention that we're going to get at NFT Expoverse is going to be huge, because we're keynote at that. That's going to be amazing. The Retosa family office is literally an event which is dedicated for super high net worth individuals to invest in upcoming new technology, and that's going to be good fun, along with what we're doing with the raise with US Capital, because what that allows us with the massive input in funds is scale, and to scale on a very rapid speed as well, which we've done all of the prep work for it. We've got all the team, we know what we're needing to put in place, we know how we're going to scale, and it's just literally a case of cash and injection, and away
like
we go.
That kind of excitement from those people as well, who kind of are really more focused on what blockchain technology can do within gaming, like not considering like what the chart says or anything like that, but actually seeing the potential in the technology itself and working alongside them to integrate and create something that doesn't exist. Like that's super exciting.
I think one of the most exciting things for me has just been literally watching the progress that you guys have been making on the game. Like every time you show me something, I'm like, woohoo! Like, which is just, it's so cool to see.
It's really fun to see it all come to life.
And it's crazy. Even just like watching, like when you showed me that video clip when it was part of the one that we put into the video, it's just, and it's like POC development stuff, but it's like just seeing the drop pods coming in. And initially our first thought when we were building this, and the idea is for the game change as it goes along to make it as quality a title as possible. So we initially thought like, you know, one drop pod with a squad of 3 dropping in, and then that video shows like 3 coming in, so like individual style drop pods.
That's the sort of point of the proof of concept that we're doing this now. It's trying different ideas, seeing what feels right, seeing what works mechanically, and it gives us a chance. And the reason it's grayscale right now as well is it's the same thing. We're testing out, you know, visually what designs do we want to go for without having to invest all our time and resources into those specific directions.
Because one of the things which I think a lot of people don't understand is that you don't just make complete finished assets and then test it.
Well, because if you do, then, you know, if you make all of your assets all at once right at the beginning, and you just pick your direction, stick with it. If you want to change things later on, it becomes way more difficult, and you've already wasted money, time, and resources. So the proof of concept is like a horizontal slice of the game where you can prove out your ideas, you can figure out exactly how to make it as fun as possible, figure out the best way to implement everything, and then you make a vertical slice of that where you pick those systems and you demonstrate them, and then you make the full production game.
Then you buff it all out. Which is it's cool, and it's really nice to see it come together. There's a really good question here from SMC Alex actually. It says, what are some plans the team have in the next few years to really change the gamer sentiment surrounding NFTs and crypto in general? And I feel like that's kind of the whole point in what we're doing. Like crypto / NFTs and gaming are designed to go hand in hand. But the issue so far has been that the quality of crypto-based games have always been to put crypto first and the game second, and that is not the way to do it.
It's not fun.
Well, that's it. You need to build a game which is fun. For if you took the whole crypto and NFT side of it out of the equation completely, and you just put in the game as it stands, that should stand on its own 2 feet in its entirety.
I would also say that NFT marketplaces just now, there's a lot of let's say unrealistic pricing where the developer.
Are you telling me millions of dollars for a picture of a monkey is not realistic?
Yeah, let's say unrealistic pricing to be diplomatic.
Yeah.
And it's a very unsustainable system, because the only reason that whatever that asset is, the only reason it has value is because of its resale value, and it's one of the most off-putting parts of the NFT marketplace just now. So what we're doing with Quantum is we're trying to go in a different direction. We're building a player-to-player economy similar to I mean, video games and MMOs, where players determine the value and players determine the use case. We as Quantum Works don't necessarily need to sell the player anything, and certainly not attach massive price tags to NFTs. NFTs will develop their value, whether it's high or low or medium or worthless, purely dependent on what's happening in the meta of the game, and it will be players selling to other players, not us charging extortionate amounts for an asset in a video game.
No, because that's like the whole reason that we're doing this, is to try and get away from loot boxes and expensive assets sold direct from the company. Because what I want a player going into the game, playing it with his friends, finding stuff, building something cool, using it, and then getting to a point where he's then used that item to a point where it's not what he's working with, it's not his loadout, and he sells it.
Yeah.
And they determine the price that item is worth.
And importantly, what they're selling has use, it has value outside of just a number. And I think that's the direction that NFTs are heading in, and that's the ones that are gonna stick around. But it's something that we got really good. We've had a really good response from anyone we've been talking to about it in the industry as well, because a lot of it's a crucial step that a lot of other projects are missing, and along with what you said of putting crypto first, putting money first, and forgetting about playability, forgetting about fun.
Yeah.
And that's why the POC and what we're doing right now is so important, that we get that right, that we find the fun first, and then the rest of it can come easily.
Yeah, I think there's a few questions floating about in there in terms of like release dates for betas and like seeing more like actual game clips and stuff.
Well, there's some stuff coming.
Well, there's some stuff that we were hoping to do more to put in that video, but our map builder has actually been really unwell for the past couple of weeks, which has been unfortunate. Because we wanted to put some of the new map stuff which we're building into there to showcase it a bit more. But I think one of the issues which we come up against and which we combat and in which we're in competition with is that other games in the crypto space they will pump a lot of money into creating a very cinematic trailer which is not actually the game. And then they will sell NFT assets based on something that doesn't exist, and that's how they promote themselves, that's how they finance. But what they're doing is just creating unrealistic expectations on speed of deliverables. And I just think it's crazy, because we've seen like amazingly large games take an unbelievable amount of time to make, and people don't realize that. Like, I always go back to it because I like referring to it, but Gwent, the card game, which people think is a simple card game, when they made that as a standalone title, because when it was in The Witcher 3, it was The Witcher 3, wasn't it? Witcher 3, they had a playable version of it as a mini game. When they made that a standalone title, they already had it working in The Witcher 3. And then it took them from that point, it was like 2.5 to 3 years to turn it into a standalone, and that was a card game.
Yeah. It's I mean, as you said, that's starting halfway through. I mean, it's difficult. We started this process at the beginning. A lot of time when games get announced, they're already
way into
production.
Yeah.
So and past things like a proof of concept phase and vertical slice, etc. So this is what's really exciting, and hopefully, as Caitlin, as you said at the beginning, this next year our plan is to bring the community a lot more into the proof of concept and actually have the foundations there for the community to have an input in the design and be able to help dictate what goes into the game and what works and what doesn't, which is something as a designer that I'm really excited
super
about.
happy.
The thing is, we're not trying to create let's just say we were trying to create a realistic first-person shooter based around this time zone in which we currently live in. That would be a lot easier. It would be way easier to do, because realistically we have all the assets available. We just need to create them, because we would be able to go and pick real-life weapons, real-life clothing, all these things. All these things exist.
There's certainly a lot more ideation that needs to happen in
Yeah, from creating a new IP from
in our
scratch.
setting, for sure.
Let's just have a.
I
I don't know if the mic picked that up, but it literally just sounded like a cat just murdered another cat, like right outside the window. Let me have a quick wee look here.
Can I address one of the questions?
Yeah.
Are we planning to release a mobile version of the game after launch? Currently undecided on that. The problem with the mobile version of the game is that you're using like a vastly different input method. When you have a high stakes shooter and you're talking about
this cross-platform,
gaining and losing like NFTs, cryptocurrency, because that's high stakes. It's a big question about whether you want to put someone on a mobile phone, because it is an inherent disadvantage, and we've seen that with other mobile.
PUBG.
Yeah, PUBG is a great example.
Yeah.
It depends where mobile technology is after launch, but
it's getting better.
It might be a sort of do it at your own peril, but at the same time, our job is to deliver a quality gameplay experience. For
I would rather put out an exemplary title on PC first, then it moves to Xbox and PS5.
For sure, mobile's always a bit difficult. And there's also unique problems with like app stores having their own monetization rules that could cause problems. But the main thing is, do you want to let someone risk their NFTs from a mobile phone?
Mm-hmm. Manuel Moreno asked, when the last paperwork is done with US Capital, will they announce it on their own website about the investment? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So basically, once everything's underway and they can put the product to market, at that point, that's when they push it. They do the first round to their private network and they advertise it through their own platform. When it goes to the second round, which is retail based, then they push it everywhere, like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram.
We'll be working very closely with their marketing team.
Yeah. And they have a massive marketing team behind them as well, which is really cool, because that means that we can work in tandem with them to have an amazing PR and marketing push for it, which, it absolutely will push it to new heights. Totally agree with you on that. Let's just have a wee look.
I love Ruben saying we need a stray space cat on the marketplace in Jericho.
Where's that?
It was so loud.
I feel like we should remember that. Yeah. We have to make Enspire's building though first. Inspire Tower.
There's so many Easter eggs to put in.
Yeah. There's so many. Yeah, Wang Ho Buchanan. And pink shirt as an obligatory item which can be purchased as a skin. All these different types of things. No, Manuel, thank you very much for the question. It's much appreciated. Let's see, what else have we got? I've sort of skipped it because we were chatting so much. Are you open to big guild partnerships? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when it comes to guilds, it's part of the reason that we're wanting to do the player spaces is because we want to give players their own individual customizable player spaces which they can then upgrade over time, but we want to put that out for clans and guilds as well. Because I want to get an invite code from another guild and then go and visit their place and just be like, this is some cool stuff.
If you're talking though about NFT or crypto gaming guilds, we have been approached by a couple. The difficulty can be that one of the things we're trying to do with Project Quantum is create a frictionless entry point into the game. And therefore we're working out ways in which you could play Project Quantum without needing to purchase NFTs in advance or having to put a lot of money into the game, which is which is one way in which guilds can operate, by sponsoring players to be able to play NFT crypto games. We want that to not be necessary. So we're just going to have to see when the game gets a little closer to launch what our final business model is going to look like, and we're willing to collaborate with whoever will make that most effective and the best game possible. Yeah,
because we want people to be able to literally download and play the game free of charge, and they basically are able to play the game, enjoy the core gameplay loop essentially. Yeah. But and then at that point, then they can go, right, cool, I want to now get and connect a digital wallet, so I can essentially start the play to earn experience.
For sure. I mean that. Yeah, because we're approaching the traditional gaming market, and so it's a hard sell to say to someone who may not be interested in cryptocurrency, hey, use our cryptocurrency Qubit, like plug in a wallet, buy an NFT.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. No, like a traditional game, you'd never get away with it. So we're finding that balance of you know, to what level will you be able to interact with the game? We want you to get invested in our mechanics and be having a good time, and then, you know, let yourself interact with a higher level of the game, tying in what's amazing about cryptocurrency and probably getting into the full game. But we're still working out the best and most elegant way to do that just now.
Absolutely. There was a question here. It was if the lock tokens ever get needed to get, if they ever, or I'm just going to rephrase it, if they ever get required to be unlocked for a new game, for example, what would that do to the circulating supply? Wouldn't that make the price go down? It would make the price go down if you literally just took them and gave them out to people for free. But the way that you do that, if you were doing a new title, would be that you would sell those tokens like through a direct method, and then what you would do is you would take that value in which you have sold and you would inject it into the pool in a one-to-one value, so it would actually drive the price up. People make mistakes when they're giving away tokens, because when people give away a lot of tokens, what they do is exactly what you said, it drives the price down, because essentially if anyone was to sell from that new pool, that would just create an imbalance. So yeah, if we were ever to release them, then they'd get matched one-to-one with actual liquidity before it goes into the pool. Just having another look. Exchanges don't implement tokenomics. Yeah, that's right. How many people are working for Project Quantum right now? Did you increase the number of workers? We're literally increasing it every other day. Yeah. We're bringing on another concept artist, we're bringing on new modelers and artists. We've already got our plan for massively ramping up and scaling. So yeah, we're always bringing people on, QA testers, everything. It's just
we're going to be putting on a job page onto the website soon, right?
Yeah. So the old job page that used to be on the website will be getting updated, and we'll be putting a new job page on where all of the current vacancies will be available, and there will also just be a place for you to just submit your CV. So if you think you've got a skill set which could be put to good use and you want to contribute to the project, we're all for it. Like, as one thing I really want to do, or like sooner rather than later, is include the community even more, from a perspective of there's thousands and thousands of people who are part of our community. There's going to be talented artists, modelers, like all of these people are going to be out there. We want to like bring you guys on and make you more part of the project.
Yeah, and there may be really interesting ways to do that as well. If you look at examples like Beyond Good and Evil 2, the development of that uses community content in really interesting ways. So there may be ways actually that the Project Quantum community could help us almost accelerate progress in the game by populating it. But yeah, again, remains to be seen. But
I've got quite a few cool ideas on how we could do that. Yeah.
So there's a cool question here, which was like, will you guys be looking for big streamers to essentially play the game to gain exposure? Yeah, absolutely. Like once the game is at that point where it's up and ready to release, it's such a great way to get eyes on the project, because traditional marketing methods in gaming have kind of like died a death.
Yeah.
Apex is the best example.
Yeah.
Like nobody knew a thing about it, and then all they did was just give it to all the streamers and like essentially pay them to play it, and it just exploded.
Also, what's really cool about that from the unique perspective of Project Quantum is that if we have, we give it to the streamers first and let them and give them a taste, then they can go out, they can fight with each other, they can make stuff, they can lose stuff, and those items that they've worn in that first week will all be out there,
available,
ready to be looted, ready to be found, uncovered, and traded.
I know. I really want to see like some 10-year-old kid like Merc Ninja in a game and then steal part of his thing. Because that's going to give me so much satisfaction.
I love that aspect of the game, that you feel like a sort of sci-fi Indiana Jones treasure hunter. Crypto archaeology is going to be the next big thing.
And with the Game World wallet funds as well, we're able to do like the first thing for like a really big prize fund and hide it around the map and all those types of things. So like,
find loads of really interesting ways to reward players with Qubit.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's part of the reason of like the tax and the 3.5% is literally so we can take that when the game's ready, do massive PvP battles with like huge prize pots that haven't been seen before, or hiding it in the game, or as giveaways for like multiple competitions. There's so many different cool things that you can do with it, which is really it's great fun. That's one of the things I love about our tokenomics. Let's have another wee look. There we go. What challenges are involved in connecting a wallet to console gaming platform? Have those been figured out? Obviously, making that process simple would be tremendous, bringing in gamers. Well, our first one will be to actually do it for PC, and that's relatively straightforward because you're just creating APIs which then talk into the system. That's not an overly complex procedure. Working with consoles is a different ballgame because you have to work directly with Microsoft and Sony for essentially creating ways of connecting digital wallets, but that's something which, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, is coming because it's the natural evolution of payment processors. And you just need to look at the big companies which are behind and wanting to support NFTs, like Epic Games. Like, they're a monster. You can't beat them in scale. There's no one that comes close. And if they are like publicly out and supporting NFT driven games, then that's why they're there. These payment processors, these ways of connecting are all coming.
And it's not just us that are pushing for it. One of the most really encouraging things about this project is how well crypto gaming is doing in general, and all the amazing projects that are out there. They're all going to be pushing the same issues as us, all going to need the same sort of kind of technologies. Really helpful.
Could there, I love Sleazy's questions, they're always solid. Could there be a leaderboard system in game where you could follow top players and fast travel to their bungalow to check out their NFTs and gear?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
That's one of the things. I want to be able to go to what looks like a transit system in the game, like for moving about the ship, and you just put in like a pin code and then it takes you to that player's space so you can see it. Obviously you wouldn't be able to take anything. But you could go and see it and visit it and see what their Modex is like, see what NFTs they're displaying in their player space, which would be great fun. Let's just see, how's life in Dubai? Warm. Very warm. Like, Magnus is like, he arrived 3 days ago? Something like that? Arrived 3 days ago.
Big change from Scotland.
Just a little, right?
I kept saying it feels like when you've been cooking something in the oven and you open the oven for the first time, you get that whoosh of heat, and it's like living in that moment.
Yeah, constantly. Like all the time, which is crazy. But it's a great place to live. Standard of living is really high. It's so safe. That's one of the things that I love about it, from like having a family here. It's just so safe. I don't need to worry about Caitlin or kids or anything. It's just, it's great from that perspective. Let's have a look. What else have we got? Are items strictly cosmetic, and if not, how are you going to balance pay to win aspects? Well, none of the items that we will sell anyone will have an effect on mechanics or gameplay. They can't. Otherwise it doesn't work. What you could be buying is items from other players, which could be a good item. But that's down to players trading between players. That's not about us doing anything directly. But it'll be an interesting way of trying to figure out how we balance that as well.
Balance is the name of the game.
Yeah, balance is always the way of the game.
It's balance and iteration. That's the
balance and iteration, constantly. It's like, for me, like when I look at games, one of the best ones for me for balance is Overwatch.
Yeah, that's the champion.
If there was ever a pinnacle of how well a game can be balanced, that's the one.
Yeah.
And it's still, to this day, it's still one of the best multiplayer shooters by a mile. I'm just slightly worried about what's going to happen with Overwatch 2.
That's what I'll talk about.
Yeah, we'll just gloss over that. But yeah, no, I think, like, I have to thank all you guys for coming along tonight. I have to thank you for asking the questions. I'm going to pick one to win $100 a Qubit.
$150.
$150 a Qubit?
It's an anniversary.
There we go.
Just out a little bit.
Let's see. Which one did we like the best? I'm just having a browse.
I like the one about the question about the integration of technologies. That was quite a good question.
Let's have a look.
feel like we need elevator music.
I know.
Right now.
I did actually forget to play. I've got a streaming music service that was meant to play in the background, but I didn't. I actually quite like Sleazy's question about the leaderboard and being able to fast travel for gear and NFTs.
It's your choice.
That's quite a good question.
It is a good question. Let's see. If anyone has a better one, please feel free to pick one. But that's my favourite so far.
Give me this. Wait, no, because now I feel like I'm taking away from Sleazy. Sorry, Sleazy. Your question is great.
I think that was my favourite one.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, roll with that. Sleazy, if you want to ping one of the admins on Telegram, your address, we'll send you $150 worth of Qubit.
Can Billy Connolly do voice? I hope so.
I would love that to be the case. Like that.
Billy Connolly.
I know, I would just love that. He could be like one of the cheeky marketplace guys.
Yeah, that would be great.
Where he just always took the piss out of you when you went up.
Just exclusively sells wellies.
Oh, I love that. Like, been holding since 7/28/2021. Thanks for Tyler Hill for turning me onto this project. Tyler Hill is literally one of the nicest people in crypto.
Yeah.
By a mile.
Dealing with YouTubers is like the bane of my existence.
But he's brilliant.
He's a really nice
Yeah,
guy.
he's just a super nice guy. Will there be an anti-cheat program? Yes.
A very extensive one.
Awesome. Well, look, guys, I'm going to say a massive thank you so much to all of you for coming along tonight and giving up your time and asking some awesome questions. And can I please be a tester? I would die a happy man.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Once we're at that stage where we're confident about putting the build out for people to test,
There'll be a closed
beta.
A closed beta.
Yeah.
Long before it gets launched. So it'll probably go closed alpha, open beta, and then launch. So we'll announce how to be a part of that closer to the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, guys, thank you so much for coming along tonight. Really appreciate all the questions, all the input, all the support, absolutely everything. Hope you guys have a great night. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you on the next one. See you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.